The audio dropped on a Sunday, May 31st, 2026, and within hours, the entire situation had already outgrown the people actually in it. Kiley Lossen posted to her Instagram what she described as a recorded phone call between herself and Walka, the Houston rapper she shares a son with. The call was ugly from the jump. A voice she identified as Walka could be heard cursing her out, cursing out their child, and then pivoting to threats about Drake. Not coded threats, not rap posturing, specific, direct threats. He allegedly said he would get Drake smoked, get Drake's car shot at, and when she pushed back, the voice on the recording didn't soften, it doubled down. That would have been enough to blow up on its own. But the same clip also contains something most people glossed past in the rush to the Drake angle. When Lossen accused the man on the call of having already put his hands on her, the alleged response wasn't a denial, it was a correction. He reportedly said he didn't touch her personally, he just organized the people who did. He allegedly claimed, plainly, that he had her jumped, and then said he'd do it again. That's the moment this story stopped being about Drake. It kept getting framed as a Drake story. That's what trended. That's what the memes were. That's what everyone screenshot and sent to group chats. A Houston rapper threatening the biggest artist alive because that artist had allegedly gotten close with his ex. But Lossen herself, when the shade room reached her, was direct. The situation was not about Drake. She said what she released was about years of conflict and intimidation she'd been absorbing behind closed doors. Years of being expected to protect his reputation while hers deteriorated. She said she was tired of being silent. She felt her voice deserved to be heard. The coverage mostly moved on to the Maybach. Lossen had alleged that Drake gifted her a luxury Mercedes Maybach, and that Walka, after learning about the relationship, destroyed it. She posted a photo of herself in front of a white Maybach with a large red bow.
Just like I get Drake smoked, I will get Drake car shot at. I'ma handle y'all.
Framed as the gift before the alleged destruction. That detail stuck to everything. Gave the story a prop, something visual and expensive and dramatic, and it pulled focus from the more serious allegations underneath it. The co-parenting failures. The bribery? She claimed he offered Chanel bags instead of child support. The threats to follow her to Dallas if she tried to leave. The screenshots of DMs where he called her a bitch. The image she shared of what she said was his bank account, captioned with pointed commentary about a man who publicly claimed to be the richest person in Houston. She also posted a video she said illustrated the dynamic of their entire relationship in one clip. It showed her entering his car and handing him a large amount of cash. He captioned it himself on Instagram. "Thank you, ma'am. Some things just never change." The implication being she was grateful. Her implication being something entirely different. Walka hit back fast. He called her a violent alcoholic. He called her a liar. He said he had video of her being the aggressor in a physical confrontation between them, and posted what he claimed was that footage. His entire framing was, she's unstable, she's clout chasing, she's the one who started it. He also said he wasn't tender, which in context was clearly aimed at Drake, a shot wrapped in a denial. He made comments suggesting he'd been financially involved with people in Drake's circle for years, language most people read as a flex about splitting money, though the specifics stayed murky. Nothing concrete. The second audio clip came the next day, 13 seconds. Lossen posted it to her story without much preamble. Just a caption aimed at the people online who'd been insisting Sauce seemed unbothered.
Tell Drake to keep my name out his mouth before I go on the internet and
Y'all say he's not pressed about Drake? LOL oak. He's mad about any man I feffed or talked to. The clip hit the same way the first one did, maybe harder, because by that point everyone was already paying attention. 2 audio drops in 24 hours, text message screenshots, a bank account balance, a repossessed Cadillac. Multiple people had allegedly messaged Lossen to tell her the car was gone, a bribery attempt with luxury bags, and photos of alleged injuries. The account LiveBytes circulated graphic images she said showed physical harm at Sauce Walka's hands. She captioned the injury photos carefully. She said what people were seeing was the end of a particular day, and then provided the footage, she said, showed how that day began. Her walking into his car with cash. Nothing visibly wrong. The construction of that contrast was intentional. She wasn't just making claims. She was sequencing them, building something. Then Adam 22 walked in. The No Jumper founder and WAC 100 had been discussing the situation on the podcast. At some point during that conversation, Adam 22 reportedly mentioned Sauce Walka's son. That's the part Walka said he couldn't let go. He pivoted the entire public narrative and directed the full force of his frustration at Adam 22, claiming the real issue, the actual source of the heat in that leaked audio, wasn't Drake at all. The grease was about Adam 22, speaking on the business. He wrote, "Never about the pussy." He challenged Adam 22 to buy the same car he was sitting in within 48 hours or be declared publicly broke. He filmed himself in a red Maybach convertible outside a Houston strip mall he claimed to own, tire shop, THC store, strip club, with his new song, Baby Mama Drama, playing loud in the background. He plugged the track multiple times during the video. He said,
Just a little baby mama drama. Bitch still man, I don't know.
Drake had been making songs about him across 4 or 5 albums, and the public was just too asleep to see it. He said, Janice STFU off Drake's recent Iceman album was about him and Lossen. Every song was about me, baby, he said. Adam 22 did not buy a matching car. What he did instead was post a photo of himself with Kiley Lossen. In the image, she was visibly wearing OVO merchandise. The caption was 5 words. When one door closes, another one opens. He didn't need to write a paragraph. Everyone already knew exactly what it meant. Drake's longest tenured security associate, OVO Chubbs, had already weighed in on the threats in the audio by then, dismissing them in 4 words on Instagram. N********* A ain't gon' do nothing. Drake himself said absolutely nothing. No posts, no response, not even a coded reference. His team treated the entire situation as beneath acknowledgement, which at his level of visibility is often the sharpest possible answer. Meanwhile, Lossen appeared on No Jumper for a full interview with Adam 22. She told him, without hesitation, that Drake had done more for her than Sauce Walka ever had. That clip moved across every platform within the hour. It was precise. It was public. It landed exactly where she intended. The Baby Mama Drama record itself is worth paying attention to because Sauce Walka didn't just react to the situation, he monetized it. The lyrics take direct shots at Lossen throughout. Lines about being mad he doesn't want her. Lines about the pregnancy being a regret. Lines about co-parenting that read more like grievances than verses. He rapped about not taking their son to the museum. He rapped about her apartment. He called her bald-headed. The song functions simultaneously as a diss track, a response to the allegations, a reframe of the entire situation, and a promotional vehicle, all operating at the same time, none of them canceling the others out. That's actually a telling detail about how Sauce Walka moved through this entire situation. Every response doubled as something else. The Maybach video was a rebuttal and an ad for the single. The Instagram post was a clapback and a flex about his business holdings. The challenge to Adam 22 was a distraction and a personal brand moment. He never fully separated the controversy from the content. Whether that's a calculated strategy or just how he naturally operates is hard to say. Probably both. What got consistently buried in all of it? Every wave of coverage, every reaction video, every podcast take was the foundational claim. A woman said she had been physically harmed. She said she'd been intimidated into silence across multiple years. She said the father of her child organized people to attack her, admitted it on tape, and threatened to do it again. And she said all of this was ultimately about a child caught in the middle of it, She repeated that part more than once, that the real issue was what happens off social media and the impact on their son. She said it to the Shade Room. She said it in her public posts. She said it in the No Jumper interview. Every time, the platform moved the camera back to Drake, back to the Maybach, back to what Sauce said about Adam 22. The algorithm isn't designed to sit with the uncomfortable parts. It's designed to keep moving. Lossen posted a message that cut through the noise near the end of the first week. She wrote, "The money, the fame, the cars, the jewelry, the designer handbags, the luxury lifestyle, and the image people see on social media can be incredibly deceiving." She said gifts were used to keep her inside a relationship she couldn't easily leave. She said what people saw online was constructed, deliberate, a version of a life curated to protect someone else's image. That post didn't trend. The Maybach photo trended. Neither party had formally addressed the other's most specific allegations. At the point this story had fully cycled through the news, no legal filings had been publicly confirmed. No law enforcement statements had been made. Every claim on both sides remained unverified, alleged, contested, denied. Sauce Walka called her a liar with a drinking problem. She called him dangerous and said she had the receipts. The internet picked sides, moved fast, and started arguing about Drake before most people had finished reading the original posts. And that's the story that keeps playing on loop, not just with these two, but with every situation like this one. The serious allegation gets 30 seconds of attention before something flashier absorbs the room. The luxury car becomes the headline. The child in the middle of it becomes a footnote. Kiley Lossen said plainly that speaking out was never about internet drama. She spent years carrying something in silence, and when she finally stopped carrying it, the loudest thing anyone heard was Drake's name.